All right, hey there, YouTube. Mad Witch here. Long time no see. Yeah, I get it. Fuck off. I don't give a shit. Oh, tired, 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 tired. I just recently started a job, so um, man, I've just been really lazy on my research on a lot of things. Um, Not only that, but trying to find videos and dealing with personal issues. But it's neither here nor there. I had a little bit of time, and I wish to thank Dorian J for providing this video that I'm about to debunk. I know the title says Belated 100 Subscriber Special. I had this whole thing in my head for the 100 subscriber special, and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. Um, Day in, day out, it was just shitty weather. I wanted to do some recording outside. It didn't happen. I had all the scripts written out, all the voices, everything done properly, except for the actual video recording. So it's one of those things. Um, I'm talking to absolutely no one, but it'll be posted, so it doesn't matter. Um, uh, let's see. Is there nobody in here? There is absolutely no one. I'm lonely. Well, I don't blame my subscribers. I haven't uploaded in what, a month and a half, 2 months now, something like that. It's been a while. I used to upload. I used to have like a video almost every other fucking day, and now it's like and it's just like steadily gotten less and less and less. And the only time you really see me was on Heathen Haven, which for those of you who don't know yet or have been wondering where I was last week, due to my new job, I work Sundays, so I don't know if I will ever be able to do Heathen Haven. If I am able to, yeah, I'll come on. It's not like I'm permanently gone forever. It's that Dorian is just keeping my seat warm for me. So Dorian is probably a better choice than me to begin with. He's a little bit more knowledgeable in the Judeo-Christian religions than I am. So probably a better fit for Heathen Haven to have him on than me. I'm more of the social political kind of commentary, and this video that Dorian J sent, it goes both on the social political side of things and the religious side of things, which I think is a perfect video for a 100 subscriber special. Again, it's belated. I'm now at 114 subscribers. If you're new to the channel, and if you subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I don't upload much anymore. My life has just been a little too hectic for me to do anything. I actually finally caught a break this week, so I'm good. All right, so it looks like there's 2 people watching. So yeah, let me get into this. This is called Dear White Witches, Wiccans, Pagans, and it's by Dakota Hendrick. For those of you who don't know, Dakota Hendrick is an SJW type person, and you'll just see. not very good. It's this video in and of itself is cancerous. I did go through it once before, and that's the reason why I'm doing it now. So hello to my 3 viewers. I don't know who's here. There's no one in the chat. All right, let me know if what the fuck? Ready to install within the future times. Take a long pick a time. Do this real quick here first. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that my computer wanted to update this soon. Fucking son of a bitch. Let's go. Let's go Saturday. Couldn't fucking update Saturday. Where's the save button? Whatever. Between me and Lunar Wisdom, Lunar Wisdom's a good channel. A good channel. Go check it out if you haven't. I think I'm subscribed to Lunar Wisdom. A lot of good things on there, on that channel. It's really good. Yeah, hey Sniper Boy, Witches Girl, CC. Seems to be but all right, it seems like you guys are the only ones who don't have school or nothing. All right, so let me know. I downgraded the pixel to low, so it shouldn't be glitchy. If it is, let me know. If you can't hear anything, let me know. I have been having problems with my computer lately, so yeah, just let me know in the chat.
I promise you this, if you shut those eyes.
Hey guys, it's Dakota, and I want to talk to you guys about something today that I think is really important.
I could already see that it is kind of glitchy. Is it glitchy for you guys already? Maybe a little.
I'm trying to film a bunch of videos today, and I'm really trying to just hopefully get some things out that I think are really important, because I'm always like processing out loud, but I forget to make videos, and usually I end up just talking about
It was kind of glitchy, so I mean, you don't. I suppose you don't really need to see it. I suppose. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, guys.
doing T's and Kikis, and then I basically don't do anything with my channel, and so I'm trying to get better about that. So I'm going to share something with you today. I think it's really important that we have a conversation between us, me and a specific group I belong in, which are white people who associate or are members of spiritual paths and traditions and practices outside of Abrahamic monotheism.
Yes, Sniper. That is supposed to be a man. Like, I don't have a problem with the gay community, with the trans community, LGBT. I don't have a problem with them. But this guy creeps me the fuck out. Like, seriously, creeps me the fuck out. Is the audio still glitchy, CC? Because I stopped sharing the video.
We need to have a conversation, because there's a staggering, overwhelming amount of denial that I encounter constantly with other white people who identify as witches or pagan or Wiccan or whatever it is that you identify with that is not Christian, Jewish, Muslim, any of that. It's this denial that somehow people believe that once we get into the realm of spirituality, ethics don't exist anymore, and that there are no ramifications or manifestations of racism, colorism, classism, prejudice, sexism. Like, none of this exists. Sexism,
He says that white people, white pagans in particular, that when we get into our pagan practices or recreations or whatever, that there is a sense of racism, sexism, colorism, whatever the fuck that is, and that we are, and that there's no, and that we feel that there's no negative consequences or repercussions to these actions. Paganism, I have found, has been the least racist, the least sexist, the least bigoted way to practice a spirituality other than Buddhism. I mean, seriously, the only thing that's less bigoted than paganism is Buddhism. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
binarism, transphobia, homophobia, like none of this can exist.
Okay, then he said transphobia and homophobia. Pagans in general don't give a shit what your sexuality is. They don't give a shit if you are gender dysphoric. We don't. We just don't fucking care. You do you. That's, you know, it's your life. You do what you want with it. And you know, there's plenty of there's even like particular covens out there that is just strictly homosexual or strictly transsexual. You know, there are groups out there that are like that. So if you are a homosexual and you want to be around other homosexuals, you know, I mean, that's kind of bigoted in a sense, but you know, if you want to do something like that, there are groups out there. You just got to look for them. You know, it's what the fuck ever, but it's, you know, there's no real true prejudice within the pagan community. And if you ever do find the you know, the bigoted assholes that are racist, that are homophobic or whatever, that claim to be pagan, get the fuck away from them. Tell them to fucking piss off.
In the realm of spirituality, and I need you to drop that. Like, I need you to really, really take a look at yourself and your practice and ask yourself, am I doing anything that's racially insensitive? Am I doing something that is colonialism, essentially? Like, stop.
Okay, so colonialism. There's this thing that they fucking called colonialism, and what it is basically white people going out and taking other cultures or adopting other cultures or whatever, cultural appropriation, or trying to destroy another culture or whitewash it. There's colonialism. The last time any place was colonized was 18, correct me if I'm wrong, like 1860 something. Yeah, something like 1860 something, and I think it was like India by the British. So, I mean, there's no such thing as colonialism in the 21st fucking century.
Trying to force your way into spaces that are not for you. Okay? Because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to recognize something with you for a moment. European, indigenous, and native beliefs, folk magics, all of it, were wiped out almost entirely. Probably like 98% wiped out. Okay? Now, how that was done is always going to be a subject of debate. There's people who want to tell the whole fallacy fucking story of the burning times. They want to say, like, Easter had to do with Ishtar. Like, please stop. Please stop.
Okay, so basically he's trying to downplay the burning times. Everybody knows about the burning times. Everybody knows about the witch trials. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Pagans especially are more noted to bring up the burning times. This was a very, very scary time. The way that European philosophies, the ancient pagan philosophies, were wiped out, 98% wiped out, was due to Christian integration and conquest. This happens throughout history. One group of people says, I'm better than you. They go in, they take the resources, the culture, the people themselves, and completely just fuck it up. This happens, or this happened, throughout history. That's how we have civilizations today. And due to the integration of the pagan and Christian philosophies, we now have what is now known as modern day Christianity that does have some pagan aspects to it. There are some pagans who adopted a Christian aspect to their religion as well. But never was the pagan religions completely, totally, 100% wiped out. It was repressed. There's a difference. I mean, if it was wiped out, we would never have known about any of it. None of it. There would be no pagans today. There would be no neo-pagans. There would be no Wiccans, Dianics, Alexandrians. None of it. None of it would have existed today. We would have still been, it would have been, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. If paganism was was wiped out, it was repressed. He's just fucking weird.
Okay, but what I do want to bring up, though, that I think is really, really important for us to talk about is that regardless of how it was done, it was done. You look at something like the beliefs of, the Yoruba, you look at Ifa, you look at these things, there was no break. There's been rises and falls. There's been, definitely the encroachment of Christianity and Islam specifically, but it was never wiped out. Okay, that's what we have, unfortunately, is white people spiritually are lost, wandering orphans that don't have any place in the world because there is no way for us to get back to our roots because we burnt down our own house, we chopped down our own tree, and we lost our way. So the answer to that is not trying to find a home in other people's traditions.
Okay, so he's basically going on the cultural appropriating bullshit. Most white pagans do practice a form of European or Indo-European practice. Norse tradition, Gaelic, Greco-Roman. The majority of white people do this. There are white pagans who practice Egyptian philosophy or the Egyptian path, Phoenicians, the Phoenician path, whatever. But to claim that white people are spiritually lost orphans I like the analogy, but it's wrong. What we are trying to do is bring back what has been repressed. Thanks to thanks to the Dark Ages, our science has went back 500 years in that 100-year period. We can easily be 500 years in the future with our technology right now if it wasn't for the Dark Times. Or the Dark Ages, sorry. Now, when it comes to spirituality, we're trying to bring back some of the good aspects of paganism, but we're not lost. We're just trying to gather all the pieces of what we can. You know, because most of paganism wasn't even written down. We don't have a book. We have word of mouth. We have stories. We have lores. We have legends. We have mythologies. We might have a few words here and there about the ancient gods, but most of it's in a language that has been long dead and gone, and we're trying to figure it out. We're not lost. We're seekers. We're not trying to find a home. We are trying to build it.
Work with your ancestors. Try to access what you can that is ethical and is traced to your own blood and bones and honoring of the earth and things that are yours to claim, your birthrights, because you do have them. But don't fuck with other people's birthrights and other people's traditions that are not yours to fuck with. Specifically, people you have privilege over. Stop. If you can have someone initiate you as a Santera, as a, Wongan, as whatever, okay? If you can get yourself into Haitian Voodoo, great. If you can do any of these things, great. But you need to only access it through the people whose heritage it is part of. You need to respect them, you need to listen to them, and you need to submit to them because it is theirs, it is not yours. So stop.
Okay, so what he's basically saying is, if you're going to practice a pagan religion, practice your own. Practice your own. If you're white, then practice European. If you're black, then practice Vandu, Hoodoo, whatever. If you're hey Hellbound, how's it going? That is the wrong way of thinking. Like I know plenty of blacks who practice the Norse tradition. Traditionally, the Norse tradition is white people, blonde hair, fucking blue eyes, white people. Do you see white people who are practicing a Norse tradition bitching about, a black dude or a black chick practicing the Norse tradition, worshiping Odin or Thor? No, you don't. We don't give a shit. It's not a big fucking deal. You are showing an appreciation for a culture that has been long forgotten. And there's I don't know anything about the Haitian philosophies. I don't know nothing about voodoo or anything. But if you are a white person practicing that, who gives a shit? And to be subservient or submissive to those people, to those practitioners, the people of that culture, it is, you don't need to be subservient. We're not going to, if we were to say that about the blacks practicing the Norse tradition, then we're going to be called racists and propagating slavery or some shit. It's an appreciation for a culture. I know plenty of white people who like the Egyptian mythology. There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with liking or practicing a form of paganism that is not European if you're white.
Stop reenacting what our ancestors did and fucking over all these people, taking everything that's theirs and being unapologetic about it. Stop. It's not yours. Stop it. Because You have to understand that when you are someone, white girl Becky, sister of mine, who goes into a botanica, doesn't speak Spanish, has no idea how to work with these people, everything is foreign and exotic and wonderful and interesting and strange to you, and all you have to your name is, you know, fucking, Solitary Witch by Silver Raven Wolf, and you decide that you want to go in and get a fucking Oya candle, and the woman behind the counter decides to fucking give you, you know, sell you.
Exactly, Hellbound. Skin color does not equal culture. I mean, if you look at it, you know, the European whites have, you know, each area had their own culture. It's not white culture. It's, you know, the Scottish culture, the you know, or I should say the Gaelic culture, the Germanic culture, the Greco-Roman culture. Each one of these, yeah, they're white, but they have different cultures. And, you know, cultures back then, even back then, they mixed, they blended, they, you know, through conquest and, you know, back and forth of taking of lands and defeating your opponent, your enemy, fighting for resources. You know, that this has always happened throughout history. It's happening even now today, just with less violence. You know, America, we are the melting pot. We have many cultures in a 10-mile fucking radius, for crying out loud. I used to live in Milwaukee, and, you know, the cultures that are around there are, you know, a dime a dozen. You know, you can't just you can walk. We have you know, we have Indian Fest, German Fest, Hispanic celebrations, and parts of the city would be shut down because of these celebrations. That happens throughout the summer. And, you know, but skin color itself, it doesn't matter. I mean, people have been, take the Old West, for example. There have been white people adopted into the native culture back then, and even still today, there are, you know, it's rarer now, but, you know, to have somebody adopted into your culture, you know, it's liberating. It gains knowledge. It gains more acceptance. And it stops the bigotry. Once you're able to understand another person's culture, I don't give a damn about their skin color. It's the culture that defines the people. And once you can understand that, you're going to be less bigoted towards that person. You're going to be more understanding towards that person or those people, and the world's going to just be better off to begin with. In my opinion.
Well, she charges you $150 to take some beads off the wall, splash some Florida water on it, say a Hail Mary in Spanish so that you're wowed by the exotic brown person, and sell you a false set of aleques, and then you want to get upset because you've been had. No, you just paid a price of entry because Abuela needs her fucking coins, and you're the one that's the trespasser. So, like, there's like a funny example, but, like, please stop acting like you should have access to everything, because you don't. Unfortunately, we're sitting here trying to reconstruct shit like the fucking Norse pantheon to somehow have some connection to our heritage, which not all of us even have. Like, there's this idea, like, if you're white.
Okay, so before I go any further, I gotta show you. He's talking about cultural appropriation within the pagan community. And I don't know if you guys remember last year, like early last year, there was that that black chick who was getting on that white dude for having dreadlocks, right? Let me show you something here real quick. So SJWs, they don't like cultural appropriation bullshit. Dreadlocks are a black, pardon me, right? Apparently. Well, dreadlocks. I mean, I had dreadlocks too. It's fucking whatever. White people have had dreadlocks. Asian people have had dreadlocks. Black people have dreadlocks. It's what the fuck ever. Who gives a flying fuck? You know? So if cultural appropriation is bad, yet dreadlocks are a black hairstyle, you, sir, are a what's the word? Oh yeah, fucking hypocrite. To be calling out white people on culturally appropriating pagan pantheon is no. That's the glorious thing about paganism. Is we get to choose which one we follow. It's not a set doctrine. It's not, you know, I mean, okay, if you're going to be bouncing around from pantheon to pantheon, you know, every other fucking week, get your shit together. But if you know, if you're a white person and you want to practice Vandu, fucking do it. If you want to, you know, if you're a white dude or white person and want to practice Hinduism, Buddhism, or whatever, fucking do it. It doesn't fucking matter. Your spirituality is supposed to be an open door. It is supposed to be something that we can experience for ourselves, you know, either by ourselves or with a group.
You can work with the Norse gods. It's like you probably don't even have heritage with the Norse pantheon, but it's become this like catch-all that we're all grasping to because we don't know what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say that there is an ethical way to go about your spirituality. There is a great way to go about your spirituality, but so many of us are not doing it. We either consistently demonize, villainize, vilify, reinforce stigma, or do all this shit about people of color and their practices, or we sit there and we demand to be a part of it and have us fed to us and handed to us and taught to us, and if we don't, then we're gonna, you know, just fuck everything up. It's like, I don't understand why you guys think it's okay that, like, you go to a, like, this happens so much.
Okay, so he talks way too fast. So basically what he was saying was the white people, so horrible, so cruel, so mean, that we demand to be in other people's practices. We demand to be a part of another culture. And if our demands aren't met, we throw this big fucking temper tantrum and try to fuck them over. I don't know where he's getting this from. When it comes to the pagan community, yeah, we have our fucking crazies. Apparently this guy's pagan, so we have our fucking crazies. But the majority of us, we just don't give a shit. We just don't care. To assume that if we're not allowed into something, I'm a solitary practitioner. My practices are on my own. I'm not initiated into any path. I'm not, you know, no traditions, no nothing. It's mine and my own. It's what I have created through my studies. Another glorious thing about modern day paganism is we get to take aspects, and this is what's being called eclectic. We get to take aspects of what we enjoy about another culture and add that to our path. And you know what? Maybe later on down the line, through our kids or whatever, if they decide to you know, practice the way we do, it'll grow. It'll keep growing. And maybe someday it'll be big, and maybe someday there'll be books written about it. Maybe. But That's not our point. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is we're trying to connect with the earth or with some form of divinity, whatever way you practice, in our own unique way. That's all we're trying to do. We are trying to connect with what is nature.
Brooklyn.
And to assume that every white person practices the Norse traditions. No. There are many people who practice, the Gaelic practice as well. I'm mainly Gaelic myself.
Like these white-owned, white-run, white-taught spiritual centers, then you're going there to participate and purchase items that are associated with African traditional religions. You're going there and you're buying the Oya candle from a white person in a white shop that just patronizes white people and is white. White people made the candle. It's like you're doing the spiritual equivalent of a white girl that goes to Urban Outfitters who gets a terrible fucking offensive replica of a Native American headdress that was made by white people for white people, disenfranchising Native people, and you're putting that on to go to the music festival because you want to be cool. Like, that's what you're doing spiritually. You are literally engaging in spiritual warfare and genocide, and you're reaping the benefits of that.
Okay, so apparently by practicing a tradition that is not yours, that you have no heritage to, is spiritual suicide, or a spiritual warfare, and you're destroying a culture. No, destroying a culture would be to try to eradicate that culture, to not practice that culture, to shun other people from practicing that culture. That is how it is done. That would be more spiritual warfare if you're trying to get rid of it than if you were to practice it. So I don't know. I don't know where you get your logic from, Dakota, but you got major fucking flaws in your arguments. And it's not even an argument, it's more of you just bitching.
Because your being white doesn't get left at the door once you enter the spiritual realm.
Like Hellbound said, what does skin color have to do with it? Like, so what if the person's white and they want to practice fucking Santeria? It's not a big fucking deal. It really isn't. In fact, it's flattering. I have Scottish heritage. I'm not going to be pissed off at an Asian dude wearing a fucking kilt and doing a sword dance. I'm not going to be pissed off. Or a black dude fucking wearing a kilt. And actually, I would really like to see that. I would really like to see an Asian person or a black person wear a kilt. I would really like to see that. If you're a subscriber of mine, please go to Walmart, get a fucking get 5 yards, put on a fucking kilt, please. I gotta see this. But I wouldn't be pissed off. I don't care. It's the Scottish culture to me is it's amazing, and not just because I am of Scottish heritage, but I like it. I really, really enjoy it. The gray kilt is a very practical piece of clothing. I wish I would have had a kilt when I was homeless. It was so practical. I would not blame anybody for wearing a gray kilt, just for the practicality of it. I would not. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care if I don't care if you're Russian by birth. It doesn't fucking matter.
So stop. Lama Dama is not a candle that you pop behind your fucking door because you want a house guardian. That is slavery. Stop.
No, that's a house guardian. You know, it's just like having ancestral spirits. Um, some people do mystical beasts. Some people call upon the towers, the elements, whatever. Some people do fairies. You know, it's all of what you want to do. If you feel that that one particular guardian aspect of spirituality would be better for your dwelling, do it. I'm not going to hold it against you. I mean, I stage my house. Staging is a Native American tradition. I live in America, where the Native Americans, you know, the Native Americans were here first. I'm going to honor that tradition of staging. You know, I know it's not European in nature, but it's still, it works. Do what works. You know, I don't, I just don't get it.
Oh, if you sit there and you have your Wiccan and you want your patron and matron and you want to make them super exotic and cool, and somebody told you that all gods are the aspect of the same god and all goddesses are the aspect of the same goddess, and so it's all part of one divinity, so you decide that you want to go and get the most exotic god and goddess that you can, you need to stop. Because just
Okay, so yes, there are prejudices that believe that the divine are one. Some believe that it's the great divine, where it's just, you know, one aspect that has the aspect of god and goddess, which then break down into the multiple gods and goddesses. There are traditions that are like that, and then there are traditions that are like, no, this is, you know, this is you know, this particular god or goddess is meant for this, you know, this, that, you know. Yes. And for those that do say that, you know, that do say that divinity, that the divine is one or is a singular aspect, there are gods and goddesses that in their title are, you know, those with many names, you know, and it doesn't matter where you go for the aspect of the particular deity that you're trying to work with, or the particular spell or rite that you're trying to do. It doesn't matter as long as it works. Magic, to me, is not only an art but a science, and you have to get every little, you know, well, for the most part, you got to get the little details, you know, squashed out. If it so happens to be that you need to have, you know, Vishnu in your ritual, call on Vishnu. I don't see the fucking problem. I personally don't. And I don't know if it's my white privilege talking, but you know, if like the argument that Dakota's trying to put out is, one, confusing, two, not very thought out, three, one, repetitive, and it's based on bigotry, racism, sexism, you know, heterophobia. I don't fucking know, but it's based on negative aspects. That's what his argument is based off of. Is everything native? Hey, Zabora, we're talking about how white people destroy paganism by practicing, you know, Santeria and things that aren't generally European. Wrap your head around that one. Oh, by the way, people, so my good friend here, Zabora, is a white woman who practices the Egyptian tradition. Nothing fucking wrong with that. She enjoys the culture. She finds that you know what? Actually, Zabora, can you come on in like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, and you know, give your deal on it? I mean, there's still quite a few minutes on this video, so you're going to get the gist of it. So throw on your makeup, put up your hair. I'm just fucking with you. She's actually very she's not. Yeah, like 15, 20 minutes. Let me get done with this. Let you get the gist of this, and then you can come on and explain to the viewers why this so-called pagan cultural appropriation thing is fucking bullshit.
Just because we've been cut off from the deities that we believe in, and long story short, basically any deity from Europe that really just wants any attention they can get because they've been floundering for hundreds of years, possibly thousands of years, because they haven't had anybody honor them, they're going to be a little bit more forgiving if you fuck things up or mess up the words or get things wrong. When you have a deity like Oya, I'm sorry to keep using that as an example, but Oya, the fucking faith to Oya never stopped. This is a deity who is within her own power, and you're sitting there, right, girl Becky, bringing this candle home, trying to commune with a deity. You haven't consulted Allah, you haven't done anything first, you're not crowned, you're not initiated, and you want to do this shit. Meanwhile, she grows a beard, wears pants, and fucking carries a machete and goes to war, and that's who you want to fuck with? Like, maybe you don't want to do that. Work with a couple saints first. Like, oh.
Okay, so, Becky. I'm sorry, this guy is overly flamboyant. Like this is the stereotype of a homosexual male. It's embarrassing. Like, a lot of the gay guys I know don't talk like this. They just don't. This is embarrassing. Enough about that. But oh yeah, I don't know who that is. If you know who it is, go ahead and tell me. Tell exactly. It's a lot of screaming and everything. I have to like really listen into what he's trying to say. Kind of have to like slow it down in my head a little bit. What he was saying was, if you're not initiated, or he was basically saying that the European gods are being spoiled little brats who want attention and are going to be cucked for your benefit. I'm sorry, no. I've worked with European deities. They care. You know, I fuck up, you know, some aspect of the ritual or some aspect of my magic. It's not going to work. They're going to be like, no, you did it wrong. Try again. Nope, wrong time. Try again. Nope, you're supposed to use this herb, not that herb. Now you're going to make the person fucking sick. I do healing magic. Now you're going to make the person sick. That's, you know, that's supposed to give, you know, that's supposed to clear them out. That's supposed to settle their stomach. You know, and instead of giving them, you know, an antacid, I give them a fucking laxative. I haven't done that. I swear I haven't done that. But, you know, when you fuck up in your magic practices, the gods will punish you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether they're European or otherwise, they will punish you. They're not these, you know, cuckold little bitches that are going to just stand by and let you fuck up. You know, there's, you know, I don't want to talk about any other traditions, but, you know, I follow the symbolism of Baphomet. When I didn't have my life in balance, when I wasn't following that aspect, I was punished. Plain and simple. My life was not in balance. I was punished to where I can better understand, you know, the benefits of a balanced life. I now understand it, and now I'm doing pretty good for myself. This happens. It's called teaching. That's what the gods do, is they teach. And they will punish you if you fail. Plain and simple. You know, we're just as afraid of our gods as the Christians are of Elohim. This is not up for debate. And as for cultures that have survived, that weren't part of the burning times. I'm proud of them. They didn't lose their culture. And you know what? A lot of people, there will be people who don't want to put the work into reconstructing a lost tradition, something that we don't have much knowledge about. They're lazy. Yes, I get that. But to have a full-blown culture that still exists, that isn't watered down or altered or changed in any way, that is very appealing to a lot of people. And yeah, people will go to that. Like, this is the full culture. And to immerse yourself into that culture is very beneficial for not only, you know, yourself as a person, but also for your spirituality. It's you know, yes, granted, it may sound selfish, but why not? If it makes you less baited towards those people, for instance, voodoo has been around for ages. It hasn't wavered. You know, it wasn't part of the burning times. It wasn't part of the witch hunts. You know, so it's lasted. It's a full culture. So people who want to, you know, there's this bad stigma around voodoo. Now, if a person wanted to learn more about voodoo and actually be immerse themselves into that culture, then do it. Get rid of that negative stigma. You know, learn about it.
Oh, it just wears me out. I think this whole idea of like white magic versus black magic, yeah, that's not barely coded racist language. What is black magic? Offensive magic, like those people who do voodoo. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? That you sit here and you act like you are a part of the earth and you are a witch and we are all human and we all need to band together. Meanwhile, you're sitting there fucking demonizing people of color and their religious practices and their...
Okay. I said it once. I said it again. And I'll say it again. And I'll keep saying it. There is no such thing as white or black magic. Magic is magic. It is a tool. It all depends on what the person does with it. It's not the gun that kills people, it's the person pulling the trigger that does. Same thing with magic. It's the intent of the wielder. That's all it is. If you know, I don't view it as white or black magic. I view it as harmful or beneficial. There's always, yeah, exactly. It's about culturally appropriating pagan traditions. But the white and black magic, that was something created by the Christians to know, you know, good witches from bad witches. You know, again, it's what you do with it. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far for myself either. I mean, again, magic is magic. You know, voodoo is voodoo. You know, voodoo is a type of magic. It's magic. Again, it's all about the intent. You know, people who practice voodoo don't just go around cursing people all the fucking time. No, that's not what fucking goes on. You know, I'm not that. You know, I am ignorant towards voodoo, the practices of voodoo, but I'm not that ignorant to think that, you know, all people who practice voodoo just go around cursing people and chopping chickens' heads off and shit. No, that's not accurate. You know, there's other aspects to it. Again, I'm ignorant towards it, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I know that's not what they do all the time. So he can piss off with the semi-racist remarks of white, black. Fuck off. The only colored magic I would accept is green magic, and the only reason why is because it's more nature-based than divinity-based. That's the only color I would accept, but I'm still. No, this is Dakota Hendricks.
Traditional practices. They were stronger than us. We could learn from them. Look at African traditional religions. Look at the diaspora. Look at the way that all of these beliefs came from the Yoruba in West Africa. The slaves were brought, and through slavery, 500 years of slavery in America alone, from us all the way down to fucking Brazil, all the way down. There's like 24 different traditions that are still rooted in the same thing that survived and have their own way of going through syncretism, through everything. And we could barely hold on to fucking Bridget without her becoming a saint. Like, we fucked up, not them. We need to learn from them, not fucking.
So now he's pulling a fucking 180. He's moving the goalpost. And he's straw manning like a motherfucker. That's what we're trying to do. The people who practice, non-traditional white fucking whatever, they are learning the traditions that have lasted generations and generations, that weren't affected by the burning times, that weren't affected by the witch trials, that weren't affected by the conquest of Christianity. Yeah. And you know what we're trying to do? The people who, the white people who practice European white culture paganism, fucking bullshit, we're trying to bring it back. That's what we are trying to do. The majority of white practitioners practice some form of European tradition. There are going to be white people who do practice Santeria, voodoo, Vandu, hoodoo, Western African traditions, Egyptian the Egyptian tradition. There are going to be people like that, yes, and it's all to broaden our minds. We are learning from these cultures, from these people who have lasted generations. We want to know where we fucked up. Maybe in order to do that, we need to practice another tradition in order to bring back our own heretical, the fucking whatever he said fucking earlier. It's fucking again, hypocrite.
Run with it and then think it's going to work for you. It doesn't work for you. Stop. Now white people are bandwagoning on hoodoo and root work, and they think that it's accessible to them and it's theirs and blah, 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 blah. It's like, girl, stop.
Okay, we don't think it's ours. Again, I practice Gaelic traditions. I have Gaelic heritage. Granted, I went with something that I have blood ties to. Yes, just like the majority of white people do. But the people who practice non-white paganism, they don't think it's theirs. It's not theirs. They understand where it comes from. They're not fucking retards. The whole reason why they practice it is because they understand it. If you're just some fucking tweenie bopper that just goes in because you saw it on fucking Charmed or some shit, you're fucked up. But if you go into it with some form of understanding, whether you have a heritage to it or not, and you treat it with the respect it deserves, which all practices deserves respect, whether you practice it or not. You don't think it's yours, because it's not. The earth is not ours. The traditions are not ours. Traditions are brought up through groups of people, not a single individual, not one individual, but groups, multitudes. That's what makes a culture, is that everybody's fucking doing it. And again, cultures mix, they mingle, they adapt, they transform, they evolve. It's happened throughout history. Take Japan, for instance. You know, they are now, they have gotten, they like the Western culture. Just like the fucking weeaboos like the Eastern culture. It happens. And now over in Japan, you know what they do for fucking Christmas? They go to KFC. One of the most American fucking things you can fucking do is go to KFC for fucking Christmas. I mean, seriously? Fucking seriously. You don't see fucking Americans bitching about fucking Japanese going to KFC. Kind of pissed off that their fucking portions are fucking like half the size of ours, but you know, they're healthier anyways, so.
Like, is there anything wrong with you learning hoodoo? No, but you need to do it ethically. Is there anything wrong with you becoming initiated into fucking candomblé? No, but you need to do it fucking right. Because in your last life, maybe that was what you were, and maybe that's carrying through on your soul, and blah, 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 blah. But in this life, you're white, and you have privilege. So you need to fucking realize that you have to work within that context and not cause more damage. So that's all I have to say. I'm getting like really, I'm just like on a
So you can't practice it, but you can practice it, so long as you're initiated and you do it right. What do you think white people? What do you think people do when they practice a pagan tradition? Hey, Mitch, it's you make it sound like we pick up a pamphlet, skim through it, and start doing these rituals. That's just, no. Anybody with half a fucking brain would actually study. Not just flip fucking through. We would actually study. You know, I've read books, you know, 2-3 times to get it right. To understand what the hell I'm fucking doing. But to assume that, let me straighten out my camera because I keep going out of frame. I'm sorry. But I mean, look, my girlfriend's native, so I don't fucking give a shit. But it's in here for fucking some reason. But to just assume that anybody who practices a practice that is not part of their culture is doing it wrong or is doing it for the wrong reasons. Yes, there are people out there who are fucking stupid, who watch too much fucking Harry Potter and think that that's what fucking goes on. You know, there are people like that. There are people who think that going into paganism is going to grant you some sort of mystical gift. You know, yes, there are people like that. But the majority of pagans are very respectful of other people's traditions and if they are going outside of their heritage or whatever the fuck you want to call it, we treat everything with the utmost respect. Again, you were saying that the European gods are being cucks because they haven't had attention for thousands of years. No, that's not the case. We still have to approach any deity we work with respect. Plain and simple. You know, I may not worship the deities, but I respect and follow the teachings that they provide for us. You know, and that's perfectly okay. Because I am showing them a great respect. I show them a respect as a teacher, as a student would a teacher. You know, you have to show that respect. So Zipporah, now you get the gist of it. I know you to be practicing um, a tradition that is not white. So go ahead and check out your Hangouts. Go ahead and um, jump in. I gotta go use the bathroom, have a cigarette, and get myself something to drink. So you can keep them entertained while you're here, and or while I'm gone. And go ahead and bitch, rant, and rave. Do whatever the fuck you need to. And go ahead and talk a little bit about your heritage, your lineage, and what you do with the Egyptian pantheon, as if you were talking to Dakota. You know, get him to understand where a white person is fucking. Oh. But yeah.
Hey, hold on.
All right, yeah, just entertain them. I'll be right back.
All right. So I checked my Hangouts. I saw that Matt had invited me, so yeah, I'm on. So I guess the topic's like cultural appropriation. So I am a white person who practices Kemeticism, which is an ancient Egyptian reconstructed religion, or our form of. Now, as a white person, I guess I just kind of I don't understand cultural appropriation to the extent that I guess other cultures would like me to, like the Black community. Um, but as someone who practices a non-European way of life in my magic system, um, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that I'm white and that I'm doing this. I know it bothers some other people, but that's their problem. I don't. I was called, so I mean, if you got a problem with it, take it up with your God. They're the ones that called me. I didn't call them. So, you know, um, but I do try to approach it with respect. I don't deny that there's black people in Egypt. I don't deny that Egyptians were fucking black. I'm not retarded just because I'm white. So I don't know. I try to be respectful and like talking to different people can really give you a different perspective. Like I'm in a hoodoo group because I also practice hoodoo. I hope you guys can all hear me. Hold on, let me unplug that and move this. Oh, that's that. No, one more second. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to fix my camera. Okay,
No,
so I was in a hoodoo.
Yeah, I want to be going out for a cigarette.
What?
So.
Okay. I'm just rambling. So, yeah, I'm in a hoodoo group on Facebook, and I was talking to somebody who told me this totally new way to cleanse myself, and I was amazed. I was like, wow, I've never heard of that. It's amazing what you can learn from adherents who are of that community and the different family traditions that go along with it. But it's I don't know, just be respectful about it. I mean, that's just my whole spiel about that. Hold on, guys. Let me try to put you in a better position here. There's that little pig thing. Oh god. Okay. Let's see if that'll work. Okay. I don't know. Is that better? I don't know. Uh, yeah, so I can't see anything that you guys are typing or anything like that, so I'm just gonna ramble. Hope you don't mind. Uh, see, what are we gonna talk about? Um, yeah, okay, so like I've learned quite a few new things just talking to people, and I think that there's a certain amount of class that you have to have when approaching a certain subject. Um, and if you could just, like automatically accept that you're the white devil and you'll never understand their struggle, or at least pretend to, it makes things a lot easier, just having a little social skills, I guess. Yeah, but you'd be amazed about what you can learn. But if it's gonna come down to skin color every time, then I don't really feel about like arguing about that. I think that there's better topics that we could be talking about, like exchanging information on spell work and stuff, and learning different techniques. I think that that's something that you can definitely do. Just talking to people. So I don't know. Maybe I'm weird like that. Maybe I'm just a white devil. I couldn't tell you. Now I have heard that there's like all white. I don't know what they're called, but they're like voodoo covens basically. I'm not very familiar with that religion, so you'll have to forgive me. But none of them have been initiated, and they're all just kind of forming their own thing. And I mean, I can't really. I guess I could see where that would be offensive because there's no knowledge coming in from like black sources, because did carry these things through tradition. Um, Now, me personally, myself, the tradition has been like severed. Back in the 1800s, it was severed, um, for my own personal bloodline. But it's something that's I've just always been interested in. I'm Irish, and the Irish intermingled with the Black community, and in the Appalachians, you have the Romani communities that intermingled, and you have the Scottish sailors and stuff that were with the black sailors that would sail from New Orleans to New York. So it's just amazing how much like a culture can mingle. But I don't know. I guess what they're mostly just pissed off about is approach it with respect. But again, maybe I'm the white devil and I don't know what I'm talking about. So how dare I speak on this subject? Oh. Damn it, Matt! Hurry up and get a cigarette. Come back! Come back! Come back! Um, I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm just gonna sit here for a second and think. I got nothing. um, I guess like this is kind of why I enjoy being solitary, because it all stops at the computer screen. Like the interactions that I have with people, it stops at the keyboard. So if I want to like not hear your opinion, it's just as easy as turning off the computer. You know, because I'm perfectly happy doing my own thing. So I don't have to listen to your bullshit or your views if I don't want to. Um, but yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you gotta take responsibility for your own actions and choose not to listen and do your own thing. I mean, that's one of the tenets of the Magi, to dare, to have the balls to go forth and do your thing. So, Matt's back. Yay! Yay!
Yay.
I was rambling. It was horrible.
Oh no, that's perfectly okay. I mean, this subject is, and due to the nature of my channel, this fit both aspects of what I talk about, the social political side of things and the religious side of things. So this was a perfect video. I do actually have a question. I don't know if you already talked about it. I'm sorry, but uh, earlier, and I think you missed that part. But earlier, he was talking about how the European gods, uh, since they didn't have the attention for thousands of years, um, that they are more forgiving, uh, basically just cucks, right? Now,
Okay, well,
hold on. My question is,
yeah, go ahead.
since you practice with the Egyptian pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon went through the same thing. They were technically neglected for thousands of years.
Mhm.
Have you felt with the Egyptian pantheon, a non-white pantheon, have you felt like they were have you felt like they were being cucks when you practiced with them, or have you felt like they were more what's the word? I don't want to say demanding. Um,
They're kind of demanding. They're kind of
but you
attention.
haven't felt yeah, but you haven't felt like they were cuckolds and being subservient to you, have you?
No, no, not at all. They're a friend that's there, kind of. They're very forgiving, but I felt the full force of their wrath when I don't do what they want to do or they want me to do. So there's definitely some blowback with an entity like that. Um, but I'm a little offended at the idea that the white gods are nice gods because they don't get no attention. I'm like, well, they reflect the culture. You ever seen the Greek gods? There's a brutal bunch. Norse gods, whoo-hoo, yeah, they'll
Yeah,
chop
you
your
don't fuck
fucking
with Thor.
corpse. So that's a little offensive. I think what it is society has shifted throughout the years, and we've applied more gentler ideas towards these deities. Like take Sekhmet for example. Like I'm very much feel that fiery nature of her, but this girl slaughtered all of mankind practically, and Ra had to put her down. So that's not a nice thing. She went blood crazy and killed everyone. But throughout the years, you've kind of learned peace is more the answer than war. And I think that's more of a wisdom, and our society has started to evolve more towards working together rather than against each other. So I think we've just kind of applied those social ideals to our deities.
Right. It's exactly, and now that the way that you put it, that's that's accurate. It's 100% accurate. And since like I was saying before, since a lot of the aspects of these traditions that were neglected for thousands of years, most of it wasn't written down, and the things that were written down are few and far between. Uh, are written in languages that are long dead and gone, and it's now up to us to bring it back.
Mm,
And like you said, we have associated more of the positive aspects of these deities to them than their negative aspects.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, there's no sense of what's about it. The gods are human-like in the aspects of their personalities, of their ways of thinking. They do have that human aspect to them, but they have the power to enforce their will.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, they're very symbolic in nature, like Baphomet is for you. Um, but I'm more of like a spiritual kind of atheist. I do see these entities that work outside of myself as well as inside of myself. So it's a little weird for my line of thinking, and I sat down, and tried to think about this before, and it's deep down the rabbit hole. You don't really want to do that too often. But when it comes to like cultures that have like disappeared and stuff, as a reconstructionist, we all get to the point of make shit up or borrow from something else. And the Egyptian religion it had magic, and there is Heka there. There is their own magic system there, but there's so much more that could be incorporated into it that I feel like it was absent, that was missing something. So I chose voodoo because not only was it another African tribal kind of thing, which is how the Egyptian religion started. It was all tribal, and then it's built into this grand, huge, conquering nation. And it was African and everything else, and it fit with me. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of the ingredients and using animals and the connections that everything had. So for me, that was just the step to go. And I get a lot of flack for that, but at the end of the day, it stops at the computer screen. I can turn that off, or I don't have to read that book, or I can just be like, you know what, I think I'm done talking to you, sir, because if you want to keep arguing about something like cultural appropriation, skin color, like it gets a little irritating.
That's one of the things that Dorian gave this video to Hellbound Heathen and I decided to take it on since, again, I have that social political side to my channel. It was that white people are fuck white people narrative that this guy is pushing, and basically saying that white people are privileged and white people, destroy things. Historically, maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny it. White people back then, horrible people. White people today, we learn from our mistakes. We're like, no, those white people, eh.
Yeah, I get, like I said, I get some flack about my skin color. But if you approach it with a little bit of respect, and like I said, peace over war, when you approach those kinds of people, because they do have something to teach, this ties in with an earlier comment, but just accept that you're the white devil and you'll never understand it. It makes things so much easier. Or, like, just pretend to, just be like, it's not something worth fighting about. We have so much more that we could be talking about and learning from each other. So at a certain point, it's like, is it worth the argument? And I mean, I break down and be like, no, asshole, okay, truth bomb, But we all do it, but it's kind of worth keeping the peace a little bit more than it is starting a war. But that's just when it comes to certain subjects.
Right. And the thing I like to ask SJWs in a debate is what gives white people privilege in America? Is it that we are the majority? Because if that's the case, then the people in the Asians in China, they're privileged because they're the majority. The people in Africa, in the African nations, they're privileged because they're the majority.
I'm not, as a white person, I have never understood this, honestly. I have talked to my neighbor who is black, and she's a very social justice warrior. I don't think as a white person you can understand it. So again, I just accept that I'm the white devil and I don't know what I'm talking about at certain points,
At a certain point, the bullshit gets a little too crazy. You're just like, fuck it, fine, I'm evil.
Yeah, I'm evil. I get it. Okay, so can we talk about something else? Like, it's not to sweep it under the rug. It's something that needs to be addressed. But when it, like, Whitney and I, my neighbor, we kind of get in fights a little bit over this shit, because I'm like, I don't understand why you are so mad. What about my whiteness has offended you? Because you're living higher than I am right now. You're better educated. You've got a better job. You're harder working. Your apartment's cleaner. You have a mother who's a lawyer. I have a mother who's an alcoholic and meth addict. So I don't understand where you're coming from with this white privilege shit. So
Right.
I guess I'm just a white devil.
Right. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think that's, I haven't gotten so far to where it's like I just say fuck it, whatever, and what they want to hear. But I think the only reason
change the subject, because you're not going to change your opinion. I'm not going to change my opinion. Let's just move on.
Right, and I think that's why my channel why I haven't been uploading much lately, is because over and over again it's the same rhetoric. It's always, it's always the fuck white people. It's always, white people are evil because of some reasons.
Yeah, because reasons. Because you're the white devil.
Yeah. And, after so many times of being, Black Lives Matter, social justice warriors, fourth wave feminism, you make the same argument over and over and over again. Like, this was a new argument. Like, I haven't heard white people appropriating paganism. This is the first time I've heard of it, and it's...
Oh God, no! This has been going on since, like, I want to say the 1940s. I know that Hyatt recorded, at least in the hoodoo tradition. Now, I'm only speaking about a certain tradition here. Hyatt recorded in the 1930s white people believing in hoodoo, and you can actually find that rural areas, like the very poor areas, like descendants of slaves, blacks, Romani, Scots, Irish, they all kind of lived in the same area. There was a big prejudice against all of them. So you find an overlap in there, but it's like technology and stuff has really made it more accessible to the average pagan. So this is something that's been going on since like 1940s, I want to say, and that's when like commercialization happened, and you have things like Florida water, some commercial thing that's designed for pagans but sold as a cologne as well. So it's just commercialization kind of took off with the cultural appropriation, I believe. That's my opinion, though. I'm speaking from me.
It makes sense too. It actually does. I mean, because when the Irish first came over here, yeah, they weren't considered to be white. They were considered to be subhuman. They were equal with the blacks back in Jim Crow days. So I get that. I 100% agree. So I mean, it just all gets repetitive. Nobody wants to see the bad in themselves.
Yeah.
That's another human aspect that needs to be rid of. Is nobody wants to see the bad in themselves. Understand, white people back in the day were absolutely horrible pieces of shit. I'm not going to deny that. But other people also have to accept that their own skin color pieces of shit.
Well, of course.
Every group of people have their bad apples.
Mm-hmm. Of course. It's not fair to blame one worse than the other. Unfortunately, that happened really hardcore, with the civil rights movement and the whole drugs associated with black communities and the ghetto and all that. So you definitely see it, and it's a horrible thing. But being aware of that, and again, using things like the internet, our Generation Y, has become more aware, and we're able to talk about it and be like, look, I want to understand where you're coming from. I don't understand why you're so mad at me because of the way I was born.
Right. I mean, we can't help the skin that was slapped on us.
Yeah. Weren't they mad about that? I mean, like, weren't you mad that you were being treated differently because you were black?
Right. And it's
like, my skin color makes me dumb.
And we all talk like this, carry shotguns and fuck our sisters.
We're all fucked up.
Back here to meet my wife and my sister, same person.
Yeah, same person. I try to understand. I guess just as a white person, I'm privileged, and I'll never be able to understand.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they're fucking right. I don't know. What do you want me to do about it? Where do we go from here?
Right. I mean, affirmative action. I was raised in a shitty home. I don't hold it against anybody. It was my life. Yeah, I had run-ins with the cops. Yeah, I was a dick to the cops when I was a kid. I learned to be more peaceful with the cops. The more peaceful you are with the cops, the better off you're going to be. Doesn't matter your skin color. If you're going to be a dick, they're going to slap you with a ticket or arrest you, probably throw you to the ground or tase your ass. It's happened to me. I've been shot with a rubber bullet. It's no fun. It really isn't. But it's all on how you treat other people. And yeah, don't get me wrong. There are those asshole cops, those cops that abuse their powers. I'm not saying that all cops are these fucking perfect little angels. They're not. You got your cool cops, and then you got your cops that are just fucking assholes that take their authority to the next level. And
it's that type. It's like 3/4 asshole, 1/4. Oh, okay, yeah. And they tend to be like new on the force.
it's the new guys. I actually noticed the new guys are the ones that are more gung ho than the veterans.
Oh, that's
like a lot of the court. Oh, not by you?
No. They're completely.
Oh yeah, up
here.
Yeah, up here it's the new guys that are it's the I shouldn't say guys because there's also up here where I live there's this new lady on the force. Holy shit, is she a fucking cunt? Like if it was socially acceptable to hit a woman and legal to hit a cop, I would have. Like I seriously just wanted to blast her in her mouth. Like
you want to play, lady? Come on.
Huh?
So you want to play, lady? Come on, take that gun off.
Take that badge off. Let's see how fucking tough you are.
Alright, so let's continue the video. Go ahead.
Oh, he's actually made a part 2. I didn't see this part.
Let's do it.
She's like, I got my bong. I'm good.
We'll be Heathen Haven Light.
Heathen Haven Light. The light version, the diet version. You want a few calories taken off of stupidity? Watch us.
There you go.
Well, for those of you who don't know yet, due to my new employment, Heathen Haven, I don't know if I'll ever be able to be back on. I'll try to work a schedule around it. So far no good. I just started. Give me like a month, I might be back on. Again, Dorian J is keeping my seat warm for me, so good addition to Heathen Haven right there. But yeah.
My
Hold on.
schedule is.
I gotta turn you up because I can't hear you. My end. It was my
Are
end.
you sure?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I can hear you a lot better now.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, I won't be able to share the video, but you already know what the guy looks like. I think I showed him to you when.
Yeah, we're good.
So. Rip earbuds.
Hey guys, it's Dakota, and as from the title of this video, you can see.
Hold on. You gotta see this. Okay. See this. You gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Okay. Oh my God! What the fuck?
He's got a safety pin through his fucking nose.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's insensitive.
Fine. He's got a safety pin through his fucking nose. I can understand putting a bar through your nose, getting that that cartilage part in your nose. I can understand getting that pierced. I understand it. People do it all the fucking time, but putting a fucking safety pin through it.
I have my nose pierced, so let's get real here, you know.
Yeah, but you got it like on your nostril though.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have a safety pin through my fucking nose. At all.
Like I had my ear pierced when I was younger, and I was dating the girl who pierced my ear, right? Piercing away, and I didn't want it to close up, so I put a safety pin through it to keep it open until I was able to buy, an actual earring.
Yep.
An actual gauge. That I can understand, but to have that as a fashion statement.
Whatever. That's your life choice, bro. You be you. I'm gonna be me and laugh.
and the beard and makeup thing is it's weird. Like I understand the guy is gay. I get it. I understand that, he wants to be more effeminate. I get it. But, be more effeminate if you're going to be feminine. If you're going to be the feminine type of gay, then get rid of the beard, please.
Whatever.
Do your makeup up. Get your hair did. Get your nails done. I don't fucking care. Get rid of the fucking beard. Like it's weird. Like to me, it's weird.
It's weird too, but whatever.
He does a good job on the makeup. Like it's not over the top. It's not, in your face. It's not.
I don't.
Like it's very well done. His makeup's very well done.
Very.
Just get rid of the beard.
Very conflicting imagery. Well.
This is sirens. Come on, go away. Go away. How far are we? That's too much. Okay. So anyway, this is volume 2. I just wanted to catch up with you guys. I did a video called Dear White Witches a while back, and it has like 10,000 views or something like that. And it was just me basically like ranting and raving and like having a moment. And there are some finer points that I want to address now that I feel like a lot of people missed, and I had to get into a lot of very heated arguments and cut some people out because they just were being woefully ignorant and obtuse. And so this is something I feel like I'm finally willing to approach now, and that I want to talk about. So a couple things. Number one, I do not feel like it is my job to tell anybody what to do. I, in that video, was consistently calling everyone out that is white and that is practicing any type of like witchcraft or paganism or Wicca or whatever it is that you do. I was consistently telling you that what is important is that you be ethical about your practice, that you deserve to be called out if you're not being ethical, and one way that you're not being ethical, or could maybe not be being ethical, is by asking permission to access certain traditions and practices and beliefs because they are closed or they are initiatory or they belong to people who you have privilege over, and you could do socio-political and socioeconomic harm by being a white person and shoving your way in without doing it ethically. There's nothing wrong with you being a santera. There's nothing wrong with you accessing, you know, like Afro-Caribbean traditions. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can find a leader in that tradition and have them initiate you, and it's part of like the will of the gods and spirits that they work with, and like everybody's copacetic and like divination pans out for you, I mean, good for you. I'm happy for you. What I'm saying is what is unethical is when you decide to do a little bit of research online, read a couple books, patronize white-run, white-owned, white-benefiting metaphysical stores, get the supplies that you think you need, and then just start claiming that you now understand this tradition. Or you get that access by going about it ethically, and then you unethically act as if you are now the spokesperson for that belief system and try to commodify that and put it out for consumption of other white people who will then only look to you, and you're the one who's benefiting from it, not the people who initiated you.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I got it.
What I'm getting from it is that if you're going to be practicing a quote-unquote non-white tradition in paganism, that, you know, I can understand, you know, getting the proper materials, the proper books, the proper research, everything. I understand that. I understand that if it's an initiatory, you know, that you have to be initiated into it. I can understand being initiated into it. But what about solitary practitioners? What about people who can't access groups that practice the way you wish to?
Yeah. Well, see, now that's my problem. I'm a poor white person living in the West. I'm very far from the South. I don't have any sort of unbroken lineage back to these roots. All I have are like 2 or 3 stories of my grandmother telling me that she remembers her great grandmother telling her about being a little girl and the Civil War going on, and how the North soldiers came through to our house, and we tended the wounded and fed everybody, and on their way out they torched the house because they didn't want the South to take it. So we moved into the South, and that is where our family intermingled with the Blackfoot Indians. The Blackfoot Indians in the South are a mixture of Black and Native American. It was a term that was applied to many different tribes that had the Black and Native lineage. It was their children. So that's where I get my roots. It's the Irish mixing in with the Black and the Native. I think a lot of white people actually of Irish descent don't realize, you know, like there's possible Negroid in their bloodline. I didn't until recently, until talking to my grandmother about this. So, you know, that's something to examine, depending on how long your family's been here. My family's been here for a while.
Right.
You know, we came off the boat.
Right.
So it's you know, it's something to look into. So I do have lineage to Southern magic. I do not have anyone in my family to teach me. I do not have anyone here locally to teach me. I am self-taught little book witch. I'm okay with that
Right.
because I learn me, and I learn what works for me. And if you have a problem with me doing magic that you feel like culturally appropriated, well, again, I am sorry. But I don't know what I could do besides tell you I'm fascinated by your culture. I find it amazing, and I've tried my best to understand it and talk to many different people. Like I said, I'm a part of a forum. I think that connecting with people, networking is very important. And I've done my best to learn from those other people. Like today, I learned a new way of cleansing yourself using castor oil and a rag. It's very simple. I'm like, oh my god, I've never fucking heard of this. This is amazing. And she said, yeah, the mama who's teaching me told me about it like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. This is the way I would have done it because this is what like 4 or 5 things that I've read have all pointed to. Now, I do try to approach it with respect. I read books by Black authors. I think that that's something that's important that needs to be done if you are going to be reading a Black magic system or studying a Black magic system. You do want to talk to the people that's their culture. Oh yeah,
Right. Right.
I
And
do. Yeah, but I think that at a certain point, I'm going to do me. And I'm happy doing me, and it works for me. And I think that's what's important in my life. And that's
exactly.
me.
That's what I was saying before too. It's white people that are practicing non-white paganism are we're not ignorant. We're not going in there half-cocked ignorance. We do our research, just like you said. Yes, you read books and you try to get the books that are written by the people whose culture it belongs to, which exactly that's what you have to do. And yes, you are showing respects to that culture by doing that. Whether you have heritage linked to it or not, that is what you need to do. That'll be like me. Like I practice a Gaelic tradition. That'll be like me going to a Russian author about the Gaelic traditions. That's disrespectful. I'm not getting information that way.
Yeah, it can be in a certain regard. Not so much in like scholarly journals, because here we're talking about like a folk magic. So it's something that's
Right.
very different and very spread out and very non-traditional in a lot of regards. It has very few things that define it as the diaspora. So it's hard to say what's authentic and what's not because the vast majority where slaves were taken, many different tribes, many different cultures, many different influences, and now you got the internet and us white devils mixing in a lot more European magic. You see things like what was that book? I think it was Llewellyn's Practical Magic by Ray T. Malbrough. He was really influenced by Buckland, and he was, I believe, a black gentleman. I'm not entirely sure, but he wrote this book, and it's basically Wicca and Hoodoo mixed. It's Hoodoo light, very light, and it's a good transitional book if you're looking to get into, the diaspora and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just important to see what's out there, in my opinion, and talk to people, network.
Like you were saying with this, the voodoo extra light, uh, it happens. Cultures mix. Like
Yeah.
that's unavoidable. It really is. So, I don't understand what the problem is with one person's with one heritage practicing another culture. You know, I mean, it's like weeaboos here in the West. You know, you have Americans who think or who want to participate in the Japanese culture. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm the white devil and I can never understand it. Um, but at the end of the day, what works for me is what works for me, and I apologize that you have a fascinating culture. Um, I think the important thing is to, for us to communicate so I can learn from you, and we can kind of work something out. It's approaching it with respect versus, oh, I read one book by one white author and now I am a god on the subject. Ask me anything, I know it all.
Okay, people at home, if you hear anybody say that they read fucking a Buckland book or something and they know everything about Wicca, slap them for me, please. Just give them a good one. I don't know how many books I've read on Gaelic traditions, and I still don't even know half of it.
Yeah, my shelves have been full several times, Those books have piled.
You're not going to know everything about any one tradition. It's impossible. It seriously
Oh God,
is.
I think I half the time, I swear. All right, so let's continue. We're off track.
Are like ethical issues that have to be brought up. I don't see why that would be a problem, other than the fact that like other white people hate it when like we are told no. I guess that's what it is. Like, you think it's better to like throw a temper tantrum than like listen to people? I don't understand that. Like, people don't make this up. Like, people don't just like make up oppression. And if you would rather believe that someone is playing make-believe with like their lived experiences and like how they experience oppression at the hands of white supremacy and the heteropatriarchy, if you believe that they would rather lie about that and make that up, like, ask yourself where you're coming from. When someone calls you out, you need to be reflective and not be defensive. Like, what I was doing with my hair in a lot of other videos, it was not intended to be dreadlocks. It was intended to be something else. And it ended up coming off as dreadlocks. And I listened to people of color, and I got rid of it. They're gone. Like, that's important, because I have nothing to lose. I can throw temper tantrums and put my fucking finger in these people's faces and say, well, I'm going to do what I want. And honestly, what am I going to end up going through? Really nothing. Like, nothing bad's going to happen to me if I just continue to do what I want. But it's an
whole dreadlock thing. One, nobody knows where dreadlocks were originated. We have, I mean, the knights of England, they had dreadlocks. They were filthy. They let their hair grow out. They're always in their armor. Maggots, rotten teeth. Their beards were in dreads, for crying out loud. The Vikings, they had dreadlocks because they were a seafaring people, and the dreadlocks kept the salt off their scalp.
I don't know the history. I can't comment on that. I'll have to take your word for it.
Well, there's most every European or Northern European and African culture had dreadlocks. It was either for cultural significance or hygiene. But
okay.
But nobody knows where the dreadlocks originated. Nobody knows what culture started it first. Nobody. For all we know, it could have been the Neanderthals.
I thought about that.
I
don't know. I guess I've never been that interested in dreadlocks.
Well, I never, I never really thought about the origin of dreadlocks to begin with. I just thought it was, just something your hair did when,
Well, yeah, it goes.
you fucked with it.
Yeah, it'll knot up, but I mean, like, they're knots. They're not really like dreadlocks. The way that black people grow their dreadlocks.
Right. Yeah,
It,
white people dreadlocks and black people dreadlocks are different because our hair locks up in different ways.
yeah, because our hair's thinner and weaker. I'm
Right,
pissed.
but yeah, because our dreadlocks take a long time. Before, and it took, it would have taken me a year for them to fully actually lock up, and I was purposely putting the locks in.
Yeah, yeah,
Manipulating my hair to be, corded like that.
yeah.
But
I just
I'm
never thought
bald,
about
so I got rid of them.
that. Well, I guess if he wants to do his thing and succumb to peer pressure, and like he thinks he's being culturally insignificant or insecure, whatever, sensitive. Fuck, I can't speak. I'm too high. If he feels like he's being, insensitive to black culture by having dreadlocks and he shaves his head, that's on him. We can only be responsible for our own actions.
Exactly. But to I don't know if he's American or Canadian. I don't know. I'm going to assume American.
Probably. He sounds privileged. That motherfucker wears makeup and has a beard. You are privileged.
Right? That's gender appropriating.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. We're white devils. We don't understand.
But as an American citizen, we believe in the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Dreadlocks, you can't give offense. You can only take offense. That's what they don't understand.
I guess.
These type of SJWs, they don't understand that you can't give offense. You can only take it.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I can intend to cause offense.
Right. You could purposely you could purposely try to offend somebody to see if they will take offense to it. But it's ultimately up to them if they do or not. Like you can call me a bald-headed motherfucker trying to offend me, and it's now, basically you just toss the ball to me and be like, are you offended? Yeah. I could be like, no, take it back. I'm not offended.
Yeah.
Or I could keep it and be like, you motherfucker,
Yeah. We could sit there and argue and be pissed off for 6 hours, All right, go ahead.
And I feel like it's important for me as a person with privilege to listen to people who actively are oppressed by what also benefits me. This is not a hard issue. I don't understand all of these white people who want to be woefully obtuse and woefully ignorant and just continuously, well, that's not like. I love it when white people want to try to define racism for other people, like for people of color, and it's like, but you've never experienced racism. Like, people of color can't be racist because racism is systemic and is something that you benefit from. Like, it's an entire.
Okay, I don't understand how you could benefit from racism. Hating somebody because of their skin, because of the color of their skin. How does that benefit you in any way?
I think it's political in this spectrum, or at least I think that's what they argue, is that it's political. You associate the ghettos with blacks and poor neighborhoods and crime and all that. Because statistically there is a higher crime rate or whatever. How dare I use math? But
Stop it with your facts.
yeah, I think it's a political thing, and then they can say, well, we're going to cut funding to those schools because they don't produce enough children who graduate and contribute to society. Or what they say is they want to keep them dumb to have working class Americans because they need a slave class that they can only pay $8 an hour and then shoot when they are done with them when they get out of control.
Well, and that's you know, I understand. Okay, so you're playing devil's advocate right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So,
but that's my understanding as a white devil.
right, and that's what I seem to be hearing when it comes to that argument as well. That's what I hear too. And
yeah,
putting it the way you did makes more sense than the way they put it. However,
I'm trying to speak white, yes.
However, there's a flaw even in that argument. One, affirmative action is one of the most racist, sexist things that could possibly ever exist in our modern culture.
Yeah.
And it's targeting blacks and women. Young black men, especially black men, and women, all colors of women. And that to me is wrong. But it doesn't affect, this affirmative action doesn't affect white men. But yet they push for affirmative action. They want affirmative action to, quote unquote, put blacks on the same level as whites, and that's not how you do it.
Well, I don't know. I just I don't quite understand it. Like I said, it's not something I fully comprehend, and I don't think understand. No matter how many times I hear the argument, I'm only trying to get at, like a little bit. Like, I do agree with the guy. There is a certain things as a white person coming outside of the faith that is good for your understanding of the faith, and that is to contact people of color who have had this passed down through tradition, and to read authors that are by those black authors, or by those by blacks. So you do need to approach it with a little bit of respect, just because you're coming from outside of it, and you're here to learn, not teach. So that's just how I feel about it.
Right, and that does make sense. I mean, if that was the argument that he was trying to make, I wouldn't be talking about it.
And I do kind of understand that side of it, but I don't quite understand the side he's taking. I think he's just repeating things, or maybe he really does have the magic ability to understand cultural appropriation, because I sure the fuck know.
I don't call it appropriation. I call it integration.
Sure. Let's go.
It happens throughout history. History shall repeat itself.
Yeah, I guess. It's gonna happen. Imperialism, white power.
You nationalist fuck.
I married a brown person. I'm just kidding. I swear to God.
Oh.
There's a special place in, like, hell for me.
Marrying a brown person's racist.
Yeah, I've betrayed my white race. How dare I? I can't help
be racist.
All right, let's go.
power structure system behind you that like helps you societally. Like that's what racism is. Like people of color can be prejudiced, they can be bigoted, but like they don't have the power of racism behind them.
Okay, stop,
Like
stop, stop.
you.
I just want to address this real quick. I believe racism is, you hate somebody based on their skin color, not on any aspect of them as a human being. So I don't actually agree with his definition, although I do know that social norms are changing. So in a couple years, maybe I'll be called the asshole for not understanding how insensitive I was. Because that does happen. You have the civil rights movement. Is a very good example, but that was for something that was very important. This year, I'm not quite getting, but maybe again, I'm just white. But I don't agree with his whole statement about racism there. I believe black people can be racist, and I think that it's a little racist that my black neighbor hates me for being white and my privilege, when she's better educated than I and comes from a better background than I.
Right. I mean, they constantly use the definition of racism as prejudice plus power. Now, technically, with you and your black neighbor, she has power over you because, like you said, she's better educated. She has a better job. She's better off than you, which means that she has more power.
Mhm. I guess, yeah.
So
More power to influence the way people would think. They're gonna listen to her over me.
So to be prejudiced against you because you are white and to have power over you because of her higher education
That's what I
and her better and her better understanding, then of course your black neighbor is extremely racist, according to them. According to them, power plus prejudice.
Yeah, according to them. Um, I don't know.
I go dictionary definition of racism. You are generally bigoted towards somebody because of their skin color. If I were to go up to a black person and call them a nigger, call me out on racism, please, because that's racist. But if a black person were to come up to me and call me a cracker or a honky, call them out on their racism.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess they're saying like, I think it was they have no money or political influence, so they can't be racist, and therefore it's just bigotry. But I mean, for me, it's the same thing. Maybe I'm the asshole again. So maybe I don't understand. But yeah, I don't agree with him.
Who can get your feelings hurt by a person of color, but like that's not racism. Like a white man who has a felony conviction getting a job twice as likely as a black man who has no criminal record, like that's racism, by the way.
Heard of that stat before?
I haven't either. He hasn't cited anything, so we can't prove or disprove that.
I'll look it up later and put a link if I do find something either confirming or denying it.
Okay.
But yeah, just because my computer's slow and I don't want to take fucking 20 minutes just to look up one fucking thing.
Oh yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool.
But I understand there are programs here in the States for felons in general to get them jobs or to better education or whatever. From my understanding, there are programs out there.
I can actually speak on this. My neighbor, her son just got out of prison after 16 years, and he had a job in 2 weeks. He was put immediately on welfare and Medicaid and food stamps, and just to help support himself. All he had to do was go down and apply. He was given his driver's license immediately, and they do help help you get on your feet until you find a trade, but they do not provide one for you. At halfway houses, they force you to look for a job. Like you're on Craigslist all day and doing interviews and shit like that. So it's up to the business, from my understanding, on who gets hired for whatever reason. But my neighbor's son had a trade. He did concrete. They're like, we don't care what your past is, so long as you do your job. Now, my husband's work does the same thing. My husband's cousin is a felon, and he came out of prison after 10 years, and the owner said, you do your job, I don't care what your past is. So, it just depends on the business.
Right. Like the McDonald's I'm working at right now, there's 3 felons working there right now. One's a manager, and they had a thievery, basically.
Yeah.
But yet that person's a manager.
Yeah.
Counting money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. It's just like what you were saying. Is like as long as you do your job and you don't fuck us over, you're good. That's the way people should think. Just don't fuck us over. Give the criminal a second chance. The stat I did hear, is that people who come out of prisons are to commit the same crime if they do not have employment.
Or like that support system. They need something to stabilize them. Yes, that's true.
So I mean, obviously, if a person has a job out of prison, I'm pretty sure they're going to be like, yeah, I got concrete. Concrete's that's not an easy job. That pays very well.
Oh yes, he's making bank. Immediately $13.75 an hour. Only been working a month.
I would not give that up for anything. I would not go out and commit a crime ever again if I was getting paid that much money. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll break my back doing this shit. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. He says he's done. He's done with all that. He's happy being who he is again. So that's good for him.
And besides, I would think it would be more fulfilling if you actually had an honest job, making your money in an honest way. I think that's a lot more fulfilling than going out committing crimes or using people for money or borrowing money constantly or mooching off of people.
Yeah, I love the feeling of having money that I've worked for. Getting that paycheck at the end of the week, oh my God, that's the best feeling in the world. Like, I worked my ass off for this. That's a good feeling. So,
my case, I've been out of work, this is my first job in 8 months. I've been out of work for 8 months. And it's been my girlfriend supporting the both of us. I feel like a complete total piece of shit when I'm not working, because it's her money.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm wasting her money. But when I do have a job, I feel better. I got myself an Xbox One, I got her an Xbox One, and that is such a good feeling when you actually earn what you have. My computer, granted, it's a piece of shit, but I have a good feeling because I earned this computer. I earned my TV. I earned what I have.
Yeah, the struggle's real for the whites too, man. That's exactly what I'm going through. It's my first job in a while, and I got my rat cage. I got my rats. I've gotten all that set up. I got my husband a watch. It felt great to be able to put food in the house, to pay an electric bill, to buy a bus pass. It felt great to be able to put my own way. So for me, that's a great feeling. I don't understand what this fuckwad's getting at.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna look up that stat. I don't believe it one bit. Not one bit.
Anyway, I didn't want to go into the finer points of racism in this video. I just wanted to point out that like there are ethical issues at play here, like you probably should be paying attention to. You know, maybe you are an eclectic pagan or an eclectic Wiccan, and you believe, you know, like all gods and goddesses are aspects of the same god and goddess, and blah 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 blah. Like, and it's all one divinity. Like, that's cute and that's nice, but like that has something to do with like people's experiences lived on Earth. So maybe you should listen to people from that culture, and maybe you should listen to what they're saying. And if they tell you not to access one of those manifestations of the god or goddess, since you believe they're all the same, it wouldn't matter if you didn't access that one. You could just access a different one, right? Because they're all the same. See how easy that was? Not hard.
Rude. Hella rude. Oh, that
What?
little fucker. I'm sorry. Okay, so first of all, it's very rude to assume that we all white people assume, or all people from the Western occult tradition assume that all gods are one god and one goddess. You know, and that bullshit. That monotheistic or dual, what is it? Dual pluralism, right? Isn't that what it's called? Um,
Dualism, yeah.
yeah. So that's offensive. In the first place, but um, yeah, I do agree that there's a certain superstition that goes along with the culture, and there are people who truly believe like these spirits and these things are real and negative, and there's a huge stipulation with that. So if they go, hey, I don't want you working with Papa Legba because Papa Legba don't play, you need to learn about Papa before you play with Papa. You know, like I understand them saying, you know, do your research first. Don't just jump into that because, oh my God, you think you can just play with him. I think that, again, there's a certain amount of respect that goes into that. But you know, this little guy, he's being whiny, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, because he mentioned that in his other video too about the yes, there are certain people who believe that divine are one, or you know whatever the masculine feminine, you know there
Yeah,
are there that's what it is, and you know who are we to tell them no? I mean that's not our place to begin
yeah,
with, and for him going like this when he was saying eclectic, I'm eclectic. I mean,
yeah.
yes, granted, I am more into the Gaelic traditions, but I am considered to be an eclectic, even within our own community.
Of course, so am I. Of course, so am I. I smashed a couple of Egyptian practices together and called it good. You know, I I don't deny my eclectic ways, but I don't I don't have a problem with my ways because my ways work for me because I am an individual. I am a delicate snowflake. I am a, so you know whatever works for you, bro. At the end of the day, you're the one with the problem.
Right? And that's what he just doesn't get. I don't know what because it looks like he has a bunch of Ask a Witch videos that seem pretty tame, like how to become a witch, uh, topic on atheism, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, so I don't think he's all social political. I think he does have that aspect of, you know, here, this is how I do it. So I don't know what tradition he practices.
I'm not sure either, but it's most Americans that practice the diaspora, from my understanding, uh, do perform some form of hoodoo. That seems to be the most accepting form, because most white people don't speak Spanish, but most Hispanics who are Catholic that practice the diaspora practice things like Santeria and Palo and all the other ones that I cannot pronounce because that's not my language. Uh, but
Right.
they practice the Catholic associated ones, whereas Christians are more associated with white people. So white people are the vast majority of the hoodoo tradition. So at least that's, you know, what I can see.
What you witness with your own eyes and ears. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
my testimony.
That's my lived experiences.
Yeah. I speak for Zabora and Zabora.
Exactly. I mean, I do that all the time too. Whenever I debate like a Christian or whatever, you know, I always say I don't speak for the entire pagan community. I speak for myself. You know,
That's important to get across to them very early on.
or else they're going to take my words out of context and, you know, edit it and be like, this is how all pagans think, and it's like, no, it's just how I believe.
Just what I believe.
These are racially coded terms. If you don't understand that, Google it. Stop saying them. Like, this is not hard. Animal sacrifice.
Again, the white and black magic pisses me off.
It does me too. I agree with you on that. It's a little irritating as somebody who practices magic, who has practiced for a long time, because the techniques are the same. You just change your ingredients and your chant out a little bit. It kind of is a plug and play format at a certain point. You know?
Pretty much.
I have heard that there was, I guess, with black magic and black people. I have heard this before. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it's true or not. I do believe that this black magic kind of thing originated with white people in the Western occult tradition. I don't think that it originated at all with whites encountering black people and saying, oh, well, your magic is black because you're black people and your magic is evil because your magic is bloody. I don't think that that's it at all, because white magic is very bloody. I don't know if you guys have ever read the Kabbalah.
Right.
There's some sacrifice, you know, there's bloodletting, because it was a savage time and people are savage and, you know, shit happens.
We were ignorant. We were children at the time. We didn't understand anything about anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Now we do. Now we got science. Now we got, you know, experience. We're still children in the eyes of the universe, but we're more knowledgeable. We're less ignorant.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of how I feel. Like we're stepping up. Some good came of all the tragedy, you know, like the cutting up the bodies for science, you know. Some good came from all the brutality. So is the end, you know, justify the means? I don't know, but that's a different debate. And what I'm not qualified to talk about.
Yeah, that's. I don't like.
But
I don't like going on the.
Yeah, I hope there's a silver lining. So whatever.
There is. There always is.
Sacrifice doesn't hurt you, doesn't hurt anybody else. Stop fucking trying to judge people for it. If you don't believe in cursing and hexing and jinxing and throwing and laying, if you don't believe in that, don't fucking do it. But guess what? It's called the Wiccan Read because it applies.
What's up?
I agree completely. Because we see this all the time, like you watching your political videos, you were talking about religious videos and stuff. You have Christians going, well, according to my Bible, you're Satan. And you know, like that's kind of what's coming from like that white lighter kind of aspect. Like, you're working with blood, you're Satan. You know, I get that too. So I do agree with him that needs to chill out because it's just a different path.
Right, like one of my spells to like again, I practice healing magic, so one of my spells requires, you know, a few drops of blood just to, you know, be more accurate with my spell, you know, to be more accurate with my magic. Like I'm slitting their wrist open, getting a big fucking goblet of the shit, and you know, they end up dying.
Well, not to be crass or anything like that, but most people associate like rooster chopping the head off a rooster, and shit like that, because there is a lot of bloodletting, as in sacrificing of small animals. But depending on from my understanding, what the animal was used for, it was eaten.
Right.
And you find that in Irish culture too, and some in the folk traditions. Way back in the mainland, of Ireland, and they still do that. They'll go out on farms and stuff, sacrifice the rooster, and then eat it for a good harvest or whatever.
Right, and it was because of the Gaelic traditions that,
Yeah.
whenever I do go hunting or fishing or whatever, use the entire body. Use the carcass. Yeah. It's the whole carcass, not just the meat.
Yeah.
Like if you get a deer, use its antlers, use its hide, use its bones. You got to use it all. And whatever you don't use, give it back to the earth.
We made a lamp out of the legs of the deer. Lots of antler knives, lots of antlers on the walls, lots of rugs. We were hunters. We're not up on that. Lots of deer meat and elk in the fucking winter. Stew. Oh my god, venison stew. Oh!
Yeah, I do. Oh, I miss venison.
We used everything. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's...
It's not anybody else, so maybe you should shut up and leave that for yourself and stop trying to judge other people. These are very simple things that I don't feel like anyone's reaching for the stars here. It's called sharing space with other people. If we are witches, we did not sign the fucking threefold law or the Wiccan Rede or whatever you fucking believe in. We didn't sign that. Stop acting like you're the only belief system in existence, because you're not. Stop telling lies. The burning times are a myth. There was no such thing as the burning times. The fucking, you're...
Sorry. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. The burning times are not a myth. They're just heavily exaggerated. And they were hanging times here in America. But they did burn them in places like Iceland.
Yeah.
Memorial to them. An eternal burning flame for their withered corpses.
Yeah, the burning times, like you just said, they were not myth. Exaggerated, yes. Yes, exaggerated. I can see that. But, one, the majority of people who were burnt at the stake weren't witches. They were Christians.
Yeah, they were Christians. They were Christians.
That's the sad part. They were Christians.
Yeah. They pointed their fingers at each other, because they're scared of everybody. They were terrified of witches.
I love saying that everybody back then was a witch. The farmer whose crop did not grow blamed the farmer next door for cursing their field, and then that farmer would get tortured and burned at the stake. The farmer who rented him out would get that land and not grow any more crops.
That's how that shit worked. You got rewarded for outing them.
So it's not that the person was a witch. It was, you're a bad farmer. Women would get accused of witchcraft for turning a guy down, for crying out loud. It's really?
Women will get accused of witchcraft for being midwives and delivering babies that were stillborn. Due to care.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy time. They were crazy kids. They got over it. They evolved, thank God, because there was a lot of people killed. But you move on, and it's cool. It's cool. We here in America, we got the Religious Freedom Act. We ain't gonna play no bullshit with Britain. But we did hang a lot of people involved very quickly, and we apologize, I guess, as a white people for annihilating other white people. But I do agree that, you know, that the white lighters need to cool their jets. It's okay to have other faiths than your own.
Oh, the fluff buddies?
Well, it's not just the fluff bunnies. It's you know, it's
They call them
people
fluff
that just
buddies.
don't understand space sharing, as that gentleman put it. Yeah, fluff buddies, whatever.
Yeah, that's why I like being a solitary practitioner, because everybody does things their own way. Are able to
Yeah.
find a coven or a group or a circle or whatever you may call it, go for it. It is an experience. I've participated in a couple circles myself. It is an experience that is very fulfilling. It really is.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I have anxiety real bad, so I don't do well around people. But I do very well with like spells of 2 or 3 people. You know, but like you talking 5, 7 people, and I start freaking out a little bit. I feel I throw group dynamic off.
I think the biggest circle I was in was like 80 people. Like, it was
Damn.
huge.
I
And
want
they
to
were
go to
all
Pig and
different
Pride.
traditions. It was all different traditions, which made it even more exciting, you know?
I I gotta go to Pig and Pride. So, oh man, I wish I told them the summertime and not in the fucking fall when it's freezing. Like late October, and you're like, son of a bitch. I don't want to go out. I want to go out in my ritual robe. I want to show up at the bus stop, sitting in my dragon robe with my scepter, going, "Yeah, what's up?"
People look at you like, "Are you going LARPing or something?"
Have my headphones on, sunglasses. Look, I do mean look very well. People are terrified of me. I'd love to do that. But goddamn.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Go ahead, yeah.
You practice the old ancient ways, and like everything was like predates Abrahamic monotheism, and it's the paganism that survived. Your religion was created in 1954. Like, fucking stop it. You're ridiculous. Like, please stop. You're gross. It's ethically wrong, and it's also really embarrassing. So stop. Like, just stop. So, I don't know. Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up with this? It's so irritating because it's like, no one's asking a lot here. They're just asking you to like share space ethically, and you want to fucking throw temper tantrums, and now your rights are being infringed upon, and this is a human right. It's like, no, it's not. Shut up. If anybody's human rights are being infringed upon, it's the people who are trying to defend traditions that your people and the people who look like you completely tried to destroy and demolish all over the world. Like, and now you want to basically like take these things, bastardize them, commodify them, sell them to other white people, and you don't think that that's a problem? Like, you're literally practicing spiritual colonialism. Like, what are you talking about? So anyway, just shut up. Just shut up and go away and stop acting like your opinion matters, because this is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of fact. You don't, you're, oh, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. Like, you don't have opinions about shit like this. This is not an opinion-based matter. This is fact. People of color are speaking out and telling you to stay in your lane, so just fucking do it. It doesn't cost you anything. So, anyway, I'm just trying to stay in good humor about this, because it would be laughable if it wasn't so fucking horrible. So, anyway, yeah, this is this is Dear White Witches Volume 2. I hope that it cleared up some issues for you. I hope that you understand it now. I don't have high hopes, but
That's pretty much
yeah. I have something to say to this gentleman. A little bit of a response video here, response rant here. So there is this thing called Louisiana Voodoo, and It's basically hoodoo with the Catholic saints who represent the Orishas, who are sort of like the saints. They could be humans, they could be spirits, they could be manifestations of the supreme God. I cannot say his name, but it basically translates to God Almighty. Now, this started up as a tourist attraction for New Orleans, like the Mardi Gras beads and parties and the voodoo. So they practice hoodoo because, that's the Southern folk magic that prevailed there. But they, through the use of the internet and tourism and white privilege and education, just implemented this new religion, and it seems to have taken quite a bit of hold. So it definitely seems to be a valid religion now, sir. So I find your point invalid.
Right. I mean, my sister, my one of my older sisters, long lost sister, found her last year. She was telling me everything that's going down because she lives in Louisiana, and she has we share the same father, but on her mother's side, she has Cajun relatives, and the Cajuns practice voodoo.
Yeah,
it's
and the blacks and stuff. It's French Creole, because the Cajuns are the French that mixed with the natives and the blacks, and they have French Creole, and it's another diaspora folk practice.
Right. My sister, she practices it. She still practices Catholicism, but that's how she practices down there. That's how my cousins, they're technically my cousins. That's how my cousins practice down there.
Yeah, I was always
nothing
told
wrong
that.
With it.
Yeah, I was always told that voodoo is like a religion. It's more spirit work, and hoodoo is the practice. Like, it's more physical manipulation of objects, whereas more spirit work and petitions and things like that, possessions. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of like what I was talking about with the New Orleans voodoo. It's the saints, but it's hoodoo and a lot of spirit work.
I don't know much about voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria. I don't know much about it. And I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about it. All I know is what I've been told.
Yeah. Well, I'm speaking from my experience again. To clarify.
Right, exactly, because you right.
Yeah, these are the things that I have encountered.
Right. So I would take
voodoo.
You're the only person other than my cousins who I don't talk to that practice Southern magic.
Well, I find it fascinating that your sister, this long lost sister, is a voodoo practitioner, and you, sir, are a Celtic practitioner, and you both share the same father, and you were both drawn to the magical path.
I do find that weird myself as well.
I may be speaking out of turn, but you might want to look into your father's roots. I know it's a painful subject for you, but might be something.
Oh no, it is confirmed. I did talk to my uncle, his brother, my father's brother. We are Scottish.
Okay.
We came from the Highlands. We were Macmillans at one time.
We're Irish. We're the Heights. We're a very old family. We're part of the McDouglas clan, or McDouglas. Yeah, McDouglas clan.
McDuggins.
McDouglas.
Oh, McDouglas. Okay, yeah. Douglas, and then there's McDuggins.
Yeah, we're part of the McDouglas class, but we're a very old family because we have a geographical name, Height. They like the hill and things like that. Those are the very old surnames.
Yeah, the history of my Scottish heritage was we were part of the Macmillans. but we branched off and went to the lowlands and into Germany and England. And our surnames changed to Walker because of our profession, because back then it was your profession that gave you your surname. So for the longest time, I thought I was German because of my last name. Turns out, I'm a Highlander.
Hey, that's cool, man. I can see that.
But yeah, she was raised in the South, born and raised in the South. I was born in the North, you know, so I was more around the European side of things. Well, she was more around the Southern side of things. So it was just the cultural differences here in America that we were raised that put us off to where we were. Like, she connected more with her Cajun heritage off of her mom's side. I connected more with my Scottish heritage.
Right. And that's cool, dude. I mean, I just think it's cool that, you know, your long lost sibling and you're both pagan.
Pagan, pseudo-pagan.
She's Catholic, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Magic practitioners.
Right. I think she's the only other one in my family that practices some form of magic.
I'm the only one that I'm aware of.
My mom doesn't really agree with my practices, but she's Lutheran, so.
Yeah, my grandmother doesn't really agree either, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to hide my altar when she comes down in June. It's gotten a little big.
throw what you call it? One of those big wall rugs in front of it, nail it to the ceiling.
My tapestry. Yeah, I already did that, dude. It ain't gonna work. There's a lot of Egyptian symbolism. Oh, I think I'll just start randomly places.
build a plywood box and paint it the same color as the walls and scooch it around it.
I think I can hide everything.
Oh.
Fuck. Yeah, I should be good. It's just gonna be a bitch, but I need to go through it anyway.
Now, I forget, your husband, he's agnostic, right?
He was raised Christian, but he was actually raised imperialistic Christian. You know, don't question, just accept. Because he's an islander from an island in the South Pacific that had no contact with anybody until like the white people showed up in the 1800s, you know. So right. He was raised Christian and he has a biblical name. And he hates it. He likes to go by his islander name. And he associates with his islander name. But they still very much practice magic over there, and he has seen some shit, and they are very much in touch with the spiritual side. And again, he's seen some shit. So their form of practice is morakne, and that means to fuse or to blend. And it is a blend of Catholicism, which is what was brought to them, and their own magic. And that's, again, South Pacific way of adapting to the white man. Right. But he did not know a lot of things about the Bible. He was not taught those things, and they were not taught to read the Bible. They were taught you stay in church and you listen to the pastor's interpretation of the Bible. So when I started laying down history about why I was not Christian, because when we met, he was Christian. He was like, babe, I had no idea. And then he started looking into it, and he's like, you know what, you're right. This is some bullshit. This is fear mongering, and my people have a rich history, and I will not let them take that from me. I know spirits exist. I know what you do is real. I accept you for who you are. I support you. and occasionally he asks for things. Uh, but for the most part, he's not involved in what I do outside of his very loving support of what I do.
Right. No, the reason why I asked is because I was wondering. I was going to ask, is the reason why you have such a large altar because he practices with you, or? But you basically answered my question.
I have a lot of things. No, I like see the Egyptians have this idea of a special box that they would put their deity in, and I have that. And then I have the altar table in front where the offerings go, and that's traditional setup. And then it's covered, but it's very much religious looking. And then I have these, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the 1 inch by 1 inch metal square things that are like foot by foot, and they're white. You can build like guinea pig cages out of them. But I think it's not corrugated, but it's the other stuff. But I have that, and it's a 4 by 4 block. So it's basically 2 feet by 2 feet. It's a cube, and I have a bunch of my oils and my candles and my herbs. It's all organized over here. Then I have 2 trunks full of other shit, and then I have my giant bookcase full of books, and then all my religious wall, like the scarab and the sun and the Anubis mask.
Right.
It's a little hard to pass off as, just decoration.
Yeah, I have a tiny little altar that's makeshift. Most of it, some of it I made myself just because, I feel like it puts a little bit of me in the altar, but I'm the only one who uses it, so it's small.
It uses mine, but I like room. I'm a big girl. I require room.
Yeah, when I do look at my altar, it's like yeah, I kind of need a little bit more room. But for right now, my broke ass is just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I acquired very little over a vast amount of time. It took me like 5 years to acquire what I have, and most of it comes from thrift shops, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
I think like half the shit.
If it's at a thrift shop, get it. Do cleansing. It's not that big a deal.
I am a fucking penny pincher.
Some pagans gotta be too. I mean, it's
It's horrible.
I mean, I got a hobby. I got several hobbies myself, and if I can find a deal on one of my hobbies, trust me, I'm taking it.
Definitely. Especially when it's like
hobbies. I got this board game called Jakan. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but it's a tabletop game that comes with these gray miniatures. Well, I decided to paint them. And I'm going to
show that again.
My little dragon.
That's adorable. That's so cute. It looks so much better than just gray.
I know. This one's my favorite just because it has so much detail.
Yeah, that's really good.
I had to take a toothpick because my brushes suck.
I'm not artsy. None of my shit's fancy. I'm jealous of artsy witches. I'm so jealous. It looks so pretty. I'm like, oh, that looks so witchy. Mine looks rural.
I'm also into the Star Wars X-wing miniatures, and I'm painting all my ships now.
Damn. Looks good on my end. I got a tiny screen though, so I can't really judge.
Right. Oh, if you could get to a computer, you'll see it a little bit better.
Yeah.
My little no, it's not even 720. It's what, a 480.
Yeah, that's what's next on my list is a computer. I'm gonna pay for my grandparents or my grandmother to come down. We lost my grandfather in January, so
Oh,
I'm paying for her to come down but there's been some medical issues, and so she may not be able to come down. We're gonna see in like mid to late June, how what things are, what's going on with that. But my next expense is going to be a fucking computer. I am buying a goddamn computer.
yeah,
I gotta have one.
I'm going to be getting a laptop, or not a laptop, a desktop. Build my desktop myself. One, it's cheaper, way cheaper.
Yeah.
And but getting those parts and then also paying off my child support and court costs and school and
Yeah, it's a bitch, man. I'm gonna be entering back into school in this fall. I'm gonna try. I want the fucking chef title so bad. It's so nice to hear them call back chef at work.
right.
So I'm like, yeah, I want that to be real. So I'm gonna go back to school too.
There you go. Yeah, I dropped out. I'm officially a college dropout.
Well, I'm very passionate about my work.
Well, it wasn't that. It was I fell below my grade point average. Their
Yeah.
recommended, their standard grade point average. Apparently, it's you're too stupid to study here, so fuck off.
Yeah, I think it's like
They said it in a
2.0.
more polite. They said it in a more polite, professional way, but
Yeah, you have to maintain a 2.0 grade point average. Um, but my profession is basically cooking,
right.
and I passed the serve safe my serve safe, which is a managerial position certification, costs $300 to get. I passed that with like a 95%, high as a kite. So you don't have to be intelligent or speak English to do this job. So it only takes 2 years to get, and it's food, motherfucker. I'm very passionate about food. So, that's what I want to do.
Chefs. If you're a chef, you got a job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're a chef, you have a job.
Yeah. That's how I
My
feel.
dumbass. My dumbass was going into a profession that was demanding, very hard to get into. Everything was working against me, pretty much. But it was a risk. I took it. Cards didn't play out the way I wanted them to, and now I got to pay for it. It's just the way life is.
It happens. It happens, You just gotta take the blows life gives you.
But almost immediately after I dropped out of school, I got a job. So it worked out.
McDonald's is a bitch, though. I couldn't handle that shit. You're a better man than I.
College?
No, McDonald's.
Oh. Yeah, I literally am the burger flipper. Literally.
I could flip burgers all fucking day. I do flip burgers all fucking day. And I clean that grill. And that
man.
and those fryers.
Oh, man, I'm going to be working overnights. I got work at 1 p.m. tomorrow, which is pissed me off because my sleep schedule's all out of whack now.
Yeah, mine too.
they just want to see if I can handle it. And it's like, look, as long as you don't fuck with my sleep, I can handle pretty much my first day of work. I went in there on an hour of sleep and nothing in my stomach, and I did everything.
Yep.
The job's not hard. It's not hard. All it is the girls themselves. They cook the meat by themselves. You don't have to keep an eye on it. You know, you throw it on the patty, push a couple buttons, go make a few sandwiches. They start fucking screaming at you. You go back, flip the burgers, season them, and you're good.
Wow. Yeah, they make. No, ours is like a short line order kind of cook. That's kind of. But yeah, I would in my first day vomited. You know, I was working so hard, sweating my ass off. But I love my job. You know, I couldn't ask for a better fucking thing. I can't walk when I come home and I kind of cry at night, but I love it. It's what I love. It's my element, you know. I'm a little miserable, so it's great.
Right.
But that's my thing, you know. That's my calling. So who am I to deny my passion? I'm the only one.
I wish I could follow my passion, which is technology, but
I'm fucking retarded on that shit.
it's a very hard thing to get into, and everything works against you. Literally, everything works against you when you're trying to get your bachelor's in technology. When you're trying to get into a STEM field, period, everything works against you, and it's very, very demanding. Even the classes themselves were very demanding. I was even starting my pseudocode. It was fun. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. Tedious.
Yeah, it is. Everything is. I mean, life sucks in general. You just gotta find the joy of it, you know. Like when when it gets crazy, and I feel like, you know, screaming, I'll squat down and push the blood back into my legs, and then I'll just start to dance or something like that, and just you know, just you know, you gotta learn the trick great to relieve that stress.
Right.
Americans, I don't know what it is, but Americans, I believe, are like the most stressed out country of individuals there are.
Oh yeah.
I think I read that somewhere, but every American is like stressed the fuck out, and we all are. Bills, oh my god, the pressure of paying bills and living, it's it's insane. Right now we're in a housing crisis because Tesla came in, so our rents went from like 540 a month to 1,000 a month, and it's the same crappy apartment that they refuse to paint or change the rug in, you know. So,
wow.
you know, it's bad. You know, Tesla and now Google's coming, and we're dying. One of the people that I work with, he's a manager at an apartment place for seniors. It was like 24 seniors homes, and the company came in, bought them up, kicked them all out. He had to rehome them in like 30 days. He called the media, I guess. The media got wind of it, and they were forced to donate 1.5 million to the housing authority due to, you know, them kicking the old people out quietly. You know?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, so they're tearing that down and building high rises and stuff. So they're trying to revitalize Reno, and it hurts us so much right now. Like, I am so happy my landlord has not raised rent. We are in a nice 800 or 680 foot square apartment on the third floor with a fireplace and a washer and dryer. Our rent's 600, and our electric bill only runs about 45 because they pay for gas. So in the heater, you know, like, it works. It's all connected. There's a pool. It's locked building. We are very lucky. It's only 600 a month. If he talks about raising it, you know, we could probably pay it, but we're not able to pay the 1,000 a month that most places want.
Right.
We are.
Yeah, it's nice when you can find cheap places that include water and heat. Especially water and heat are a must have.
Oh yeah.
Like we
Definitely.
only get water paid. We gotta pay our gas and electric, which
Yeah,
it sucks.
paying gas was we were pumping out like 125 a month for gas. It was horrible.
Yeah, like
Oh,
last month's electric and gas, because our electric and gas comes from the same company. We're so small, and it was $180 some last month,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there thinking, what in the world? I'm looking at all the math that they do that they do for their bills, and I'm looking at the electric part, especially because I already know why the gas bill is so high, because my girlfriend keeps the heat up cranked all the time. So I
Yeah.
understand. But
Yeah.
it was the electric portion that I was pissed off about, because it's like, this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, granted, I have an Xbox and a computer, and yeah, they do take a lot of energy, but not that much. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting there I'm going through everything, and I found out that the heat is actually half electric, half gas.
Yeah. Ours was too. We were paying 125.
And
It's a double way to charge you.
and I was like, that's bullshit. Plus, it doesn't
Yeah.
help that our wiring is out of code. Like this house is not up to code at all.
So you're
It's a
losing.
fire hazard.
Yeah, you're losing amps and everything. Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, here. I don't know if you could pick it up on the screen, but sometimes, especially when the heat kicks on, this light will flicker on its low setting. It's a 3. You can actually see me. Holy shit, that TV is bright. That's the light from my TV.
My lamp shocked me.
But yeah, this is a low setting right here. Then
Yeah,
mid.
our place was built in like 1970. It's all fucked up in here. No one's ever done work in it.
Yes. I guess the last tenants that were here started a fire in this room. Actually, like, I'm not even kidding. In this room, the window right here is busted out and covered with a piece of plywood and insulation foam and plastic. Yeah, looks very, very appeasing. Yeah, I want to be able to open that window during the summer, because this is where I spend most of my time.
Yeah, you want a nice crossbreed, That's my problem. I ain't got no fucking crossbreed.
Only 2 windows open in this house. One in the living room, or what we call the common room, and one in the kitchen. Those are the only 2 windows that open up.
I only have 2 windows, and it's the living room and the bedroom.
Oh yeah, so there's walls and doors in between everything.
Yeah, we have walls with doors between everything. Ours is a box divided in order.
What you do is you get one of those Walmart fans, and you tie ice packs to the back of them.
I got a Walmart fan.
Poor man's air conditioning.
No, I have an air conditioner. I use my air conditioner. Mama don't play. She likes to be comfortable.
We got rid of ours. It was just horrible. It only cooled off one section of our kitchen, and the rest of this back when we lived at the trailer, and the rest of the house was just
blistering hot.
And it was.
Yeah, there's only so much you can take. I understand. Trust me.
So then we got a shit ton of Walmart fans took ice cream buckets, empty ice cream buckets, filled them with ice, you know, filled them with water, froze them overnight, whatever, and then put them behind the fans with towels underneath it. So much better. so much better.
Yeah, we went and got Walmart fans, and you know our house stays okay. Down and just turn the air on. Like I said, our electricity bill is only like $45 a month. We can handle $45 a month, so we're not too worried about our electricity bill anymore. So we try to be comfortable. I have to keep it a certain temperature in this house anyway because we have rats and they're wrecked. So they have curly hair that comes in patches. So they're kind of half naked. Yeah, so you have to keep a certain temperature for the animals, you know?
Right. Yeah, I have breathing problems at night.
Comfortable.
And having a cooler house helps me breathe a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
me
have to
too.
have a fan on me.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend has the heat cranked up to 11, and and one of the heaters, one of the heat vents is like right above the fan, and the hot air comes in at an angle, hits the fan, and then gets blown right into my face.
Yeah, my husband, he's an islander, so he's used to the hot weather, so he cranks it in the winter. He freezes so bad. His muscles cramp up from it. That's how bad he freezes. Yeah, so we have to have it hot in here. My it's like, where's the snow? I'm fucking dying over here.
Right. I think it's just because I was born, you know, born and mainly raised in the north.
Yeah, that's how I want it. I'm used to snow. It's used to being cold and humid.
Right. I like those during the winter, those memes that are posted on like Facebook and Google Plus and stuff, where it was like some southern city gets like a little light dusting of snow and it says shut down schools. Meanwhile in Michigan, or meanwhile in New York, or meanwhile in Wisconsin, Minnesota, you know. And it's like, yeah, pretty much, you know, where it's just like, you know, buried to the
used
head,
to it, you know?
head, people digging out their cars, you know, like I gotta get to work.
Yeah, y'all are used to it. All right, man. I'm gonna go eat dinner. It was good chatting with you, debunking that crazy person. I had fun.
Yeah, that's, you know, you were the perfect example that I had. Everyone else was, you know, a minority practicing a white culture, so that wasn't really they don't like doing that. So
yeah,
white pagan culture. You know, fucking. If you're a pagan, you're a pagan.
I will represent the white devil on your videos.
All right, that sounds good. That sounds good because I can't play the white devil. I'm too much of an asshole. All right, catch you later, Zabora. And to all my subscribers, this was a makeshift 100 subscriber special. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get what I wanted done. I'm pretty sure it would have been a lot more entertaining what I was going to do. But I do live in Wisconsin. The weather up here is very unpredictable. You know, I just haven't had the proper weather to do my recording. Yes, it was supposed to be outside. Had this whole thing planned out. Didn't work. So I'm sorry to the subscribers who were expecting some big grandiose video with Sly the Snake. But now that I have a job, expect to see very little of me. I'll try to get some videos in here and there. If you have any videos that you would like to see me debunk, either on a live stream, most of my videos are going to be live from now on, just so I can skip the editing and everything. I'm sorry about that. Or I'll probably just like record like side by side or something and upload it when I can. You can message me on Twitter, Hangouts, or Google Plus, or right here on YouTube, link me to a video. I don't mind at all. But yeah, right now in order for this channel to keep progressing in more forward direction instead of being stagnant or going backwards, I do need you guys' help. So if you guys see some fucked up video that you know I would go after, link it to me. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of me, and we'll make this a team effort. It's not just going to be my channel anymore. It's going to be you guys helping out as well. Only because my life is one big clusterfuck right now, and I don't really do much. I can't, or I should say, I can't really do much when it comes to researching and going out and finding videos. Because again, a lot of the times when I look for the videos, it's the same old tired bullshit that I've debunked time and time and time again. And when it gets to that point, it's just like there's only so many times you can say the same thing before you just decide to just get rid of it. Just stop. It does feel like no matter how much you talk about it, it just doesn't click with people. You know what I'm saying? And I've been kind of letting the bigger YouTubers who talk about the same subject as I do, I've kind of just like I was already in the background. I just went further into the background, if that makes any sense. I mean, I'm only 114 subscribers. So it's, people like Andy Worski, Bearing, Sargon, channels like those, the big ones. My content is just too very few and far between to where my channel most likely won't grow beyond what it is right now. But I do thank those who have subscribed and who have supported this channel. I myself, I do apologize for failing you guys. That's the whole point of having subscribers is to give them content that they enjoy watching. You obviously enjoy watching the things that I talk about. And I have failed you guys by not uploading as much as I could have. When I first started the channel, it was, almost every other day I had a new video up, and it was, hour, 45 minutes, whatever. And then, thanks to the subscribers coming in, on a regular basis, I decided to advance my channel, get better equipment, editing software. And from there on, my channel was just growing into what it is now. 100 subscribers may not seem like a lot to most people, but to me, it's more than what I hoped for. Like, I never thought I would have 100 subscribers, ever. I'm not very charismatic. My videos are fucking shit. I will even admit myself, my videos are fucking shit. And again, I'm surprised that I have so many subscribers. And I thank each and every one of you. And as always, blessed be.